What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights Camera Collect with my amazing co-host for the evening, brother cousins, the Pimp, the Foxx and the Pimp. We told people we were going to do this last night on Lael's show, brother cousins. So at this point, I feel like we got to give people what they want.
Exactly. I mean, we were kind of obligated to do it. We have to do it.
It's true, man.
No backing out of it. When you put it out there, it's no backing out.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Once Lael was like, y'all need to call it the Foxx and the Pimp. And I had said that, I think. And I think Cam had said, like, called it Foxy Pimp. And I was like, nah, the Foxx and the Pimp.
The Foxx and the
It's all about the sitcom title.
Like a sitcom 70s type of thing. The Foxx. He's the Pimp. Together.
It works for us, bro. It works for us. So it's gonna be fun, man. We got some cool topics. You know, people always know that we get really philosophical on this show. It's always fun. We do it on Sundays too, because you're on there quite a bit, so you know. Exactly. But like on Fridays, I like to really hit it, those philosophical topics hard, that philosophy. But as always, brother cousins, we got to hit the news, and we will do that.
Absolutely.
But before we do that, I got to hit the comments first, because people are dropping these comments left and right. All right, Christian Maher, what's up, guys? How you doing, man? Wraithy, this is gonna be hella spicy. Yeah, it should be. It should be. Yep, Jazzy, yep. Let's go. The Collector #1, Maniac UK, Punisher XS, Riley Reviews, Figurassic Park. What is up? So nice to see all the regulars in the chat tonight. Punisher XS, Maniac UK, AJ in the house. AJ, how you doing, man? My fellow bald brethren. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. So Gilbert Amazen, Mike Fiala, Punisher, SSJ Star-Lord, Renz Talentino, the artist himself. Bro, your prints are right back here, Renz. I don't know. People can't see, but they're here. They're here. So I got frames, brother cousins, for those prints. So I'm excited. They should be here Sunday.
Amazing work. That's just, dude. He's just amazing. Great, such a great artist.
He is, bro. Seriously. Marco Polo, what is up? Riley said, update to everyone. I watched Lord of the Rings, thought it was great. Now I can stop being banned. Yes, you can. You can. Two coffee in the house. What's up, gentlemen? Let's see. Josh McCoy. How's it going? Josh, dude, good to see you, man. Ebu127. Good to see you, Ebu. Always good to see you, as always. The Collector, DT Artman, Bob Dylan, TGI Figures, exactly. Uncommon Flex. What's up, Uncommon Flex? He messaged me on Instagram, and he said he was going to get the J&D Batman, and he blamed me for it. I was like, don't blame me, blame Riley, if anybody. If anyone, it's Riley.
Right. The master enabler.
So yeah. Casual Nerd Problems. What's up, peeps? What's up, Casual Nerd Problems? How you doing, man? Collectible Chris, Figure Shot, Jeff Sith, Orama. Dude, Jeff, I sold him my Lando. That's crazy, man.
Wow.
So I didn't know, Jeff, that you watched the channel. That's crazy. But
I'm still kind of mad at you. I still feel some type of way that you sold Lando.
I know. I sold the figure version of you.
Right. I'm like, come on, man.
I know. And I sold him for like $190 too. So God. Yeah.
I mean, considering right now, that's not that bad. Could have
that's not Tim Sent's probably selling them for around that. So I mean, you know.
There you go.
So Angel in the house. What's going on? FBJ boxed in. Sean Bean in the house. What's up, Sean Bean? How you doing, man? All right, guys. We're gonna stop in the chat for now. We got to hit something, brother cousins. I got to ask you about something here. That Electro, it dropped. It dropped, and people are excited. I'm pretty excited. I don't know if I'm going to get this, but I'm excited that other people are possibly going to get it and how good the figure looks. Yeah. I really think they did Jamie Foxx justice with this head sculpt. It's funny, brother cousins, because I talked to Carlos, and I told him, I was like, this is really good. I think it's like a 9 or 9.5. He was like, nah, it's like an 8 or an 8.5. And I was like, I think it looks just like Jamie Foxx. What do you think, brother cousins?
It's funny because Lael kind of said the same thing. He was like 8 or 9. Dude, that's Jamie
Foxx. I don't know who else that would be.
That's Jamie Foxx. I mean, this thing looks so good. I'm considering buying 2, and then taking one head and then taking a head sculpt from the second one and making a Django Unchained figure. Yes, I'm with cowboy look and all that, and have that like next to like my Clint Eastwood figure. I just have a whole Wild Western type of thing going on with that. I think that look good. But man, to answer your question, that head sculpt is amazing. I don't know what people say. I think it's a 10 straight up. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, I think at this point it's only going to get better. Honestly, I really do. I really think, and I've said it before. I've said it on streams. I've said it on your stream. Said it on Lael's stream. I think that we're at a point with Hot Toys right now where there can be no more questionable head sculpts. It's either go hard or go home, because they know they have Queen Studios, they have Infinite Studios, they have all these J&D, they have all these other companies out there that's really killing it with hyper realism. And they have to take it. They have to take it there. And with this right here, I'm sorry, that's Jamie Foxx. I can say, I mean, I guess in some angles, but that's with anything. But what I'm looking at right now, dead one, like that right there, that is Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Straight up. It's no, yeah, that's Jamie Foxx. But I think this looks phenomenal, man. I think it's for me. I think it's a 10. And my favorite, it's not even an accessory, but my favorite accessory from the figure right there, the damn Timberlands. I don't think we ever
The Timberlands.
I don't think we ever got a hot toy that has Timberlands.
Nope. You got to buy
amazing.
2 just so you can take the other shoes off and put it on another figure. So I mean, just
Hey,
for
there
the
you
Timberlands.
go. There you go.
Yeah, but
no,
I'm
man,
with you, Jay. I think this is awesome, dude.
Absolutely. Yep. It looks great,
Yeah.
man.
And I'm excited. And I always held out hope. I know Leo was a little skeptical. He was like, I don't know if this is going to be made. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm like, I think they're going to make Electro. If they're going to make blue Electro, they're going to make this Electro. Like
And
that's
that was a red herring to me, because I mean they made that Electro, and that figure, yeah, it didn't sell well, but that was like the biggest villain from that movie. They had to make something at that time. And to me, I didn't personally like that figure. I mean, I didn't like that whole. I didn't like. Wasn't even the thing of the figure. I didn't like that whole concept of making him blue like that. I don't know. It was just something about it that just was not cool to me. But this right here, I think this was cool. I think it looks good. You get the yellow lightning, you get that yellow tiara. It harkens back to the comics with that, and they did their own thing, and they made him look cool. You get a little bit of, you got a sense that he has like a little whiplash feel with him as well, with the arc reactor, and then the story and the concept of it just made so much sense. And I really liked him in the movie. He was like completely OP. He was overpowered. Like he was like Raiden.
He was, dude. He was.
Yeah,
he was, man.
I really like this figure. I really think I'm excited, and I think I'm sure it's going to get made.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. You know how Hot Toys does things. If they put it up for pre-order, it's getting made. So it's Absolutely. So at this point, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it, dude. I'm even, how selective I'm being with my Hot Toys now, and I'm even considering getting this because I really like the character in No Way Home. I actually kind of liked the version in the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think this one's better, clearly, but I did kind of like that rendition. I didn't have really comic expectations, but no doubt about it. After seeing this version, it's vastly superior. I mean, it is like the blue version. He was just kind of like the outcast nerd. He was like, it's like it's a tropey thing. It's like
that's what it was, such a trope, and it was just like, come on, really? He got the slick back. He got the big gap in his. He was just like a complete nerd. But I actually like that now because it's like now in this universe, it's like, oh man, he's like cool. He's super cool, Jamie Foxx.
Right.
So it's like that whole storytelling aspect of it. It makes me appreciate the older version because now we have this version, and it's just they did a good job on it.
It's funny too, like that line. He's like, "Y'all just go stand here pretending like I'm not butt ass naked." Like, come on, this version's cooler than the original version.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
And Leo's here cheering us on. Leo, how you doing, bro?
Hey.
Foxx and the Pimp. Yeah,
that's
boy.
right. That's right.
Boy. So I'm with you, Jay, on this one. I'm very tempted by this. $285. Yeah, I don't like prices are going up, but I think that's just where we're at this point. Like that shot right there with the little star on the face, this is going to be like, you could put him in a simple pose like that and he still looks really good.
He's going to be one of these figures that just looks good any way you pose him. And that's the thing. I think some figures have a fun factor to them. Like you can pose them to come with all these different accessories and all that. And then some figures are just cool as shit, whatever you do with them. You set them in a corner, like Iron Man have that feel. I'm not putting this one the level of an Iron Man figure. I want to be clear on that. Because that's a whole nother thing with that. But this is a real cool looking figure. And it's the type of thing where you either like it or you don't. And I can understand some people not liking it. Some people will be like, hey, I'm a comic book purist. This is not Electro to me. I need the the campy costume and all that, But as far as an MCU version of Electro, I think they knocked it out the park. And it's a cool figure. And if you're a Jamie Foxx fan, you're going to jump into it. If you're an MCU fan, you're going to jump on it. I think it's great. My only drawback of it is I would like to see them do something different. Not exactly sure what, but we've seen these lighting effects before. They came with like Miles. They came with like the synth of lightning is just, yellow. I think they even got it with what's his name, with Hellboy, same type of lightning effects and stuff. I just wish they could do something better. It's serviceable. It works, but it would be nice to see them try to do something more out of the box. But hey, I'm happy. I'm happy with what we got. Dude,
but all I can say is that these three figures, man, Goblin, Doc Ock, and Electro are very much tempting me. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to see if I'm going to end up getting these because Electro is very nice. And I hope maybe I'll end up getting him like if he starts dropping lower, like every figure right now is just dropping. Once it comes out, you can get it cheaper than retail.
Yeah.
If that starts happening with this one, which and I hope and I also don't hope it does happen, then maybe I would consider it because I do really like how this looks.
Well, definitely. I mean, we definitely see that happening with Marvel. I mean, Marvel. I mean, if you look at it, like you look at all that in-game stuff, it's going to come down. Excuse me. It's gonna drop after a certain point. I mean, this a lot of that stuff is just sitting. And I believe once this stuff is finally released, now let's face it, when it released, I mean, the hype for No Way Home is already kind of dying down.
Yeah.
So by the time these come out, the hype is going to draw back up again, but then it's going to drop again. Because with the MCU, who knows what state the MCU is going to be in when these figures actually drop. You know, as of next week with Multiverse of Madness, the rest of the shows and the movies, the MCU may be totally different. We may be talking about X-Men and stuff like that. And the hype for this is kind of going, you know, will kind of go down a little bit. So yeah, I really think these figures are going to be sitting. You'll be able to get them is what I'm saying. So it's not something you would have to rush out and get if you're on the fence of getting it. If you're like me and you want it right now, yes, that's cool. But I think they'll be around. I think they're going to be around for some years to come. I don't see them selling out. I don't know if it's that we're going to get that Marvel MCU hype like we had back like when the first Avengers came out, because that's what all Hot Toys was about back then.
Right.
But yeah.
Because Riley had a good point too, that it could be like a Mysterio level, and I agree. And Lael, thanks so much, Lael. Super chat. This should really be a thing. The Foxx and the Pimp, dude. Maybe it can be. Maybe it could be.
I'm with it, dude. I'm with it.
Hey, it could be something in the making. We'll find out, I guess. But Jay, I want to move on to our next topic here on this one, because I know this is another release that Hot Toys dropped the other day. I'm going to share this on Insta because Facebook doesn't want to cooperate today. But the Hot Toys Transport Trooper from Mandalorian that Din Djarin was seen in pretty frequently, at least in that one scene or in that episode. This is actually a figure that's been released by Hot Toys. I think it was like $235, if I remember correctly, in the States for us. So it's a very interesting look for a trooper. It's a little bit different. It's kind of like short trooper-ish, but green.
Yes.
It has that vibe to it. But Jay, is this something you think you're going to pick up?
Absolutely. It's not going to be like a Toys Wonderland or a purchase I'm going to buy from Hong Kong right away. Something I'm going to definitely like wait on. I could definitely wait to get this. And wait. I mean, the price. I don't think the price is going to drop down anytime soon. But I just still do have some points and stuff from Sideshow, so I can definitely probably once it comes into Sideshow, I can use some points on it and bring that price down a little bit more. So I can only not get one, but I think I'm gonna get two of these just for just to kind of recreate that scene a little bit with him and Mayfield. So, and then once that Mando comes out with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt, hopefully I'll be able to attach it on here some type of way. They kind of allude to that in the pictures. I don't think they came out and said anything directly just yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a thing that you can be able to do with this figure. But as a figure by itself, it's kind of basic. Yes, it is. But with troopers, they're all kind of like that. But I think it's a cool trooper. It kind of harkens back to the mud trooper that was in Solo a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, kind of gives you that same type of feel. And I like the armor, the little pop of red with the armor right there. It's just, I don't know, it's something about it just looks real cool to me. And that helmet is badass. So it's definitely in my wheelhouse. And like I said, I'll probably get two of them, but it's something that I'll wait on. It's like I'll eventually get it. So
yeah, well, because I think a good idea is to wait on this one, because you've seen, Brother Cousins, what's happened with the Shore Troopers. The Shore Troopers, everyone thought originally, oh my God, it's a reissue of a Grail. This thing's going to fly off the shelves because there's so many people that want it. And I think that is true. They maybe just made a lot of them, but look at them now. You can get them like dirt cheap. I mean, you can like especially from Hong Kong resellers, even the US retailers are starting to discount Shore Troopers. I mean, like they're a dime a dozen right now. So, and that's could be what happened with this figure. We don't know. Who knows? But I think just with any figure nowadays, man, with Hot Toys, like just wait a little bit and you're going to get a better deal.
Exactly. And all the people that are like, oh, I got to jump on this right now. It's a Grail. It's going to sell out. No, if you
Not
look,
anymore.
That's what's going on. It's like they'll take a figure that was a Grail, look, for instance. And I think I'm on the verge of selling this figure. I think you've already sold this figure, Mark 47.
Oh yeah, I sold it way back. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like I was so hyped to get it. And I'm looking at it now. That's kind of like, I'm kind of in the mood for pruning stuff.
Yeah, I am too.
So I'm just like taking a little stick. I'm like, I'm gonna prune you. It's time to get this. Prune this. Time to get. Yep.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so that's kind of on the chopping block right now. And if you look at it, that's you're able to get Mark 47 anywhere. So any figure that was like a grill that they kind of like redo, or they do a 2 point, not a 2.0, but a reissue of, you're kind of able to get. So once again, I agree with you. It's not, I don't think you have to run out and grab this. I think you can wait. And I think that would be the
Yeah.
best thing to do, to wait.
And there are a lot of good troopers out there. There are a lot of trooper collectors out there too. So I mean, there's plenty of variety and options. To me, it just kind of looks like another trooper. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But it is kind of unique. I mean, it has the green to it. So at the same time, I see both sides. If it has some cool weathering, the
No,
green flight suit, it's pretty cool. So I feel like you would almost need multiples of this. I don't know.
and see, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at it like they're with two, and Anthony kind of brought this up on my stream last night.
Yeah,
When you have two of them, it really adds to the presence,
it
because it's like,
does.
oh wow. If you have just one sitting there, be honest with you, it's kind of boring. It's kind of honestly, it's kind of a boring figure by itself. You kind of needs either more troopers, or it needs another, or you need to have him firing at firing at Mando or something, something like that to tell the story with it. But by itself, yeah, it's kind of boring. It's cool, but it's also kind of boring. And I think it works having multiples, and that's
Yeah,
why the price point is what it is.
I think so too. So, but guys, Transport Trooper, pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about it. There's something else I want to share here, Jay, because this is like something I think that we haven't got an official announcement yet, short of, hey, this is going to be a thing, right? This is the No Way Home Spider-Man figures. We already got the integrated suit, obviously. So at this point, we're just kind of waiting for Toby and Andrew. They've shown a brief little sneak peek here. These are clearly new figures, not old figures. They're remakes 2.0s, so to speak, right?
Yes.
And they look pretty cool. So there's a little bit of bunching in Andrew's suit that kind of worries me a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. It could just be the photo. But is this going to be something? Oh no, you're good, man. Is this something with these Spider-Man figures? You think you're going to pick up like all three of these? Because I'm tempted, but I do want the final Tom Holland suit from the film. I do kind of really like that, and I really like it too because of his growth that he underwent in the film, and what that suit means to him and where he's at in his life at this point. So I really liked it for that, and it just was a cool ass looking suit.
Exactly.
But these two are really incredible looking too. So what do you think? Is this something that you'd be interested in?
Yes and yes. I want to recreate that scene.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I love my Marvel. And it's funny. I notice a lot of people are talking more about Toby and Andrew. They're not really talking about the Tom Holland suit like that anymore.
Right.
But you're gonna have to get it, if you want to complete, the trio. Especially how it was in the movie. But yeah, I love Marvel. I thought this was a great moment. And that's my thing in my collections. I like great moments in my collections that just take me back to those moments in the film, and trying to replicate that in a 1/6 scale. So I definitely like this. These are definitely will be bought, all three. I mean, I just can't wait. The bunching in Andrew's suit does look a little weird, but I'm sure that'll be worked out. I don't think they were exactly ready, which is why we haven't seen them yet. They want to knock this out the park. They do, because they know that a lot of people are waiting on these. But also, I guess they wanted to kind of keep hope alive, and they know that they knew that Electro, they had to show Electro. They showed a lot of the villains, but everybody was asking about Andrew and Toby. And you got to think, well, Multiverse of Madness and all this other stuff that's around the corner, they gotta get this stuff out. They gotta try to get those pre-orders. At the end of the day, it's business, so they had to put this out. And I think, from what I'm seeing right here, it's great. Even if this was just a complete reissue with a little bit of more, like just a slight upgrade of the Andrew and Toby, I still would get it, because I missed out on those figures originally.
Yeah.
And they're okay, but they haven't aged well as well. So yeah, I'm definitely on board for these.
Yeah, dude, they're pretty badass looking. So I think it ultimately boils down for most collectors of how many Spider-Men do you need, because these two are really iconic. And like, again, this might be your only chance to get these figures for a long time. It really is. Like, if you want a Tobey Maguire or an Andrew Garfield, this might be your only shot for a decade. It's like
Exactly.
until they maybe reissue them, or maybe they show up again or whatever, right? Or maybe Andrew Garfield gets another trilogy or something. Anything could happen. But or another 2 films because he got 1 or 2, sorry. But who knows
Right.
what could happen, right? So you never know. But I will say that I think these are pretty cool looking, and it's interesting. Six Scale Padawan threw off throughout the comment of, I wonder if this is a 3-pack. I never thought of a 3-pack. That had never crossed my mind, but
Ooh,
it
that
could be. I don't know if Hot Toys really does 3-packs.
would people buy a 3-pack?
Depends if you like made it worth their while. Like if you made it like, I don't know, would it have to be 750 maybe? Because if you made
Yeah,
each figure 250 and made it
yeah,
that's a little more reasonable, because normally they'd be probably 300 a piece or something. So,
exactly.
285, 300. So if you make it worth people's while, they might,
Yeah, but would they
but
have head sculpts, webs, and all that other stuff? I mean,
I would assume so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing I'm noticing with the Spider-Man figures is like they're making sure, because the Spider-Man figure itself, it's a small figure. It's, you have a head sculpt, a couple of webs, that's about some hands, and that's about it. So
Yeah.
it looks like with this series, they've been actually adding things like more diorama bases and stuff like that. Like you got Molten Man in the Spider in the what is it called, the black Spider-Man that came out.
Oh, the
Night Monkey, the Night
Night
Monkey.
Monkey, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing that with some of these figures too. So if they did a 3-pack, and yeah, I mean, I would be on board for that for damn sure. Especially at like a 750 price mark. I think that would be great. Don't
Yeah.
know if they would do it. I don't know if they ever did it. Have they ever did a 3-pack?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. Lots of 2-packs, but
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't
not so
know.
much a 3. But I don't know. I think it'd be
Yeah.
exciting. I think people are still looking forward to it. But you're right. They gotta cash in soon, because
Mhm.
if they want pre-orders, Multiverse of Madness is coming out. It's going to take people's attention. Obi-Wan's
Yep,
coming out. It's going to take people's attention.
right.
There's going to be any number of shows between now. Thor 4 comes out. Love and Thunder.
That's
That you're
right.
going to have a Lady Thor, a new Thor figure, maybe some new Guardians. Maybe you finally get a Mantis. Like
Yep.
there could be any number. A Valkyrie finally, right? So there
Right.
could be any number of things that we get from. And Multiverse of Madness is going to be like, there's going to be so many figure potential in that film.
Who knows if we? I know we kind of talked about it last night. If we get like an Xavier, if we
Yeah.
get
See?
some X-Men, or if we get who knows, a Tom Cruise Iron Man.
Right.
You just never know. It's gonna.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
There's going to be Hot Toys is probably like, this is exciting, but also terrifying because we're already behind. And now we're going to
Right.
have to make a million figures. And if there's an Iron Man, you bet your ass they're going to make it. So,
They are.
like if it's a Tom Cruise Iron Man, even if they don't have a head sculpt, they will make it. They
That's
will
the
make that Iron
residual
Man.
income.
Yep. They know what's up.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I think it's pretty exciting. And I wanted to show you something, Jay, and I showed you a little bit before the show just to kind of fill you in a little bit. But this, I wanted to show you. This is actually a company called Dinonovo. So if people haven't heard of them before, they actually are a newer company, and they got the Star Wars license. And part of this was kind of taking over Anovos's properties, right? So
Yes.
Anovos had like a bunch of Star Wars licenses, but they were like really, really bad with customer service, taking with delays and things like that. So this company has been taking over, and they're having a sale. Actually, it's actually, if I can get back to it, like 10% off of everything on the website, and it's free shipping. So for Star Wars fans, I think this is pretty exciting. It ends May the 4th. And they have like this, like the Star Wars Kylo Ren helmet. They have like the Jango Fett Camino accessory helmet, Rey's costume for, cosplayers that want to cosplay as Rey. Din Djarin's helmet, the Rogue One, a short trooper, Royal Guard, AT-AT driver. I like the Praetorian Guard one a lot.
Nice.
So they have a lot of cool helmets, and shipping is usually like $80. It's really expensive. So this is a pretty good deal. And this Kylo, I mean, it's 10% off. So is there anything, Jay, like, do you ever collect props or anything like that that would interest you?
Lights, like I'm really big into like the lightsabers again, so I'm gonna collecting lightsabers. I was collecting helmets. I collect a lot. At one point I was collecting a lot of the Marvel, not the Marvel, but the Hasbro series helmets. I had a whole bunch of them at one point, but when it came to cosplaying with them, they're so big, and I'm a little guy. I'm only like 5'7". So then you have this big I look like a bobblehead, with it. So
Gotcha.
it's like, yeah. So I ended up selling them, and I used to put them at the bottom of my on the last shelf of my detolfs, because they would look good down there and everything. But I always ended up selling them. I would buy them and sell them, buy them and sell them, buy them and sell them. So I kind of backed off from buying those like that. And backed off a lot of props, but I do like I do like lightsabers. I like Saber Forge. I like
Mm.
some of the Hasbro sabers, the Force Elite stuff. And this stuff right here looks great. Like I just saw that 1989 Batman cowl. I want
Oh
that.
yeah.
I must have that. I like it and I won't sit.
I think where is it? Batman? Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
$950 though. Whew. I don't know if that's part of the sale, but it's still pretty
wow.
badass.
How much is it?
950. So it's a
Oh,
lot.
jeez.
It's a lot. Yeah, these high-end props like this, they overprice you. That's for damn sure. But
Yeah, it looks good as hell though.
they're gonna get your money. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, yeah, man. But they got some cool stuff. There's almost like more like a PSA, I feel like just because like people who know about this company or don't, like, you know, they're having the sale. I got an email about it and I was like, because I've been looking at this Kylo helmet for a while.
It looks phenomenal.
And it's pretty badass, bro. It is.
And just by the pictures, you can tell that's not like Hasbro. That just looks,
No.
that looks screen accurate, dude. That's
Yeah, it's really nice. I've heard, I have some friends in the cosplay community since I've done that a lot. And, you know, one of the guys has the helmet, so he sent me a video of it and some pictures. And he was like, yeah, like it's pretty good, actually. It's not like perfect, but it's still really good. So,
is this where you got the Loki helmet from?
oh, no, actually, that was made by a company called King Arts. And I actually got that from Toys Wonderland because of the shipping glitch. So,
Oh, nice.
that's when I got that one. But that one was King Arts, yeah. So it was a little bit different. But same type of deal. Same type of deal. But yeah, they have like you know, X-Wing helmets and this and that. So it's pretty cool. So if you're into Star Wars and you like the props, like, you know, they don't have a ton of stuff, but they got some good stuff. And if anyone wants to cosplay as Rey, there you go.
Well, I
So
tell you, I'm starting to go back to cons this year. So cosplaying will be a thing again. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to check out the site.
right.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool, man. But anyway, it's worth checking out for people. Jay, I have to ask you some philosophical questions here. So this is it's almost like being on the therapy couch. So
Love it.
how long do you think about purchasing something? So like when you're thinking about, do I want to buy something? I'm curious because I think everyone has a different process. Like I know I tend to think about things for a pretty long time nowadays. I used to be somewhat impulsive where I'd be like, okay, 20 seconds, I want it. Like, you know, but nowadays I tend to like really be cautious about it because then I'll be like a week later and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't buy that. You know, like the Bat Pod, for example. I've gone back and forth like a million times. And more I look at it, I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't get it. But the tumbler I see and I'm like, I want that. Like I want that tumbler.
There you go.
But
There you go.
how long do you think about things? Do you really mull it over or are you pretty impulsive, you think?
It depends. If it's I hate to say this, if it's like a Hot Toys purchase, if it's like a figure a 1/1/6 scale purchase, then it's like, yeah, I'll buy it because I know I can either sell it or I'll review it and then I'll sell it or I'll keep it. But it has to be something that I like. Of course. But those are kind of easy. Those are that's kind of like, for instance, you know, Third Eye Comics, you know, we're in the DMV.
Yeah, dude. They're awesome.
They're great, man. They got Harley Quinn in, and I saw it the other day, and I was like, kind of want that. I was like, but it's not. Some of the joints are kind of weird on it, but I was like, I don't know. I love the colors in it. It's kind of. I was like, I need some estrogen in my collection.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's real girly, but I was like, I don't have anything like that. And I can appreciate the art. And I'm like, hey, it's a Margot Robbie figure. Hey, 1/6 scale. It's as close as I'm going to get. So it's not. So I was thinking about getting it, but I've been thinking about it. But I'm like, do I need this? Is this something I'm going? I just get the feeling that this may be something that I sell later on down the line. So I'm kind of like, maybe not. Let's just not, because I don't have anything to go with it right now. I don't have like I'm not gonna go out and buy a Jared Leto Joker or anything like that to go with her. So I have nothing to go with her. So maybe I'll just leave it alone. So stuff like that is easy. But when it comes to like the bigger purchases, like the Ecto One, for example, that was a lot of thought that went into that, because it was like, okay, I was hearing rumors that we only have like maybe one more month to buy the Ecto One. I mean the Ecto One, because it's like I think by the end of this month I think they may be closing it down. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've been hearing rumors about that. So the thing, yes, that. So when looking at it, I was kind of like, I want it, but at the time I was like, I don't have the Ghostbusters. So then it was like, okay, if I get this, first of all, this is a big pill to swallow. It is. It's a lot of money. And then to get the Ghostbusters, you're almost looking at, you're almost looking at a $5,000 endeavor. That's
Right.
pretty much what it is. So I had to think about it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And initially, at first, I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do it. I'm cool. I'm fine with my collection. I'm not going to do that. Then I started to think about it. I started to think about when I was a kid. I was thinking about some of the first toys I ever had as a kid. My cousin, my big brother. He's 10 years older than me. When I first started, I think I was in first grade. I got some A's, had a good report card. He had first started working his first little job, and he actually bought me the toy Ecto one and the real Ghostbusters stuff as a kid. So I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I had it and everything like that. And it was something about it. And he kind of reminded, he's like, yeah, man, you always liked Ghostbusters. I was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, and then I looked at him and I was like, man, shit. He was like, what? I was like, bro, this is going to lead to a bad decision.
This is the gateway.
Yeah. Right. And then I started looking at it and I was like, damn, it just looks great. And I was like, I have the 89 Batmobile. I have the DeLorean. This is like the next one. And it just kind of hit me. I was like, I really want this. But then it was like, okay, I'll get the car and I won't get the figures. I'll live it. The car is fine. It can pull, you can have the doors open. It's a great vehicle. You don't need the figures with it. I know me. These people that is a completionist. And it's just like, I know it would screw with me to have this and be like, and then I'll watch Ghostbusters and I'm like, damn. Look at Harold Ramis, man. Damn, look at
the Force Ghost Harold Ramis, yeah.
Right. It's like so I was like, you know what? I don't know. And then so I was like, I kept thinking, this took me a whole month to think about it. Then I started looking at the Ghost. I said, let me see how much this really is. Tax money. I got some good. I had a real good tax return come in. I had some other things that paid off. I had some other side hustles come in. Had a little extra money sitting around. So I was like, I'm not going to spend $4,000 on a set of Ghostbusters. That's not happening. But let's see what's out there. Went on eBay, looked at it, and yeah, some prices were like new in the box were like, we're talking about $4,000, we're talking $3,000, and I'm just like, nah, this is not happening. No. But then when you start seeing things like, hey, $2,000, $2,500, I'm like, maybe I can make that work. Let me send some messages out. So I sent a message out to one guy, and he was selling the full set of 4 for $25. And I said, hey, dude, would you accept 2 shipped? And I knew, I was like, he's going to tell me to go to hell. He didn't say anything. For the first 48 hours, I was like, yeah, I know, let's go to hell.
Yeah, right.
But then a Sunday, after the weekend, Sunday, I guess he was getting desperate. He contacted me. He said, hey, I've been thinking about it. Maybe we can work that out. He said, I think I'll let these go for two bills. I was like, what? Seriously? He was like, yeah. And then I was like, I was thinking about, my mind was like, back out of it. You're not going to do it. It's too much money. But then I kept thinking about it. I was like, and then like a sign from God, Ghostbusters was on cable. And I was like, oh, no. Come on, don't do this to me. No. But and then I thought about it. And then my wife was kind of like, you know, you want to get them.
Right.
You know, you want them.
She talked you into it a little bit. She pushed you over the edge. You were already on the cliff, and she just pushed you off.
She just still doesn't know the exact price. She's like, I don't even want to know. She's like, I know it's one of those big purchases, big purchases. I don't want to know. I just better know that I better go out to dinner with you. I know rent better be paid. This better be everything. And she was like, I want to do this to the house, and in the next couple of months, I don't want to hear anything from you. I just want it done. I was like, okay, I can make that work. So talked to the guy. He was a real sweet guy. He was actually able to knock off a couple of $100 more for it. So I actually got it for like 18. It was about with shipping. It was like a little under $2,000. So even though they were really expensive, I still got them for a good deal. So yeah. I know it's a long story, but it just that was how much thought that went into it. And then now I'm looking at getting this Ecto one. So so now I put my down payment with specs. So I'm getting this one. So it's a whole thing, man, because now it's like, okay, where do I put it? Now it's the planning. Like, because this is like the biggest vehicle. So now it comes to like, okay, where am I going to put this thing? How am I going to structure it? I'm gonna have to build something. I got to make something that's, that's able to hold it. All that. So it takes a lot of thought, especially when you're doing buying these big pieces. It takes a lot. I mean, I've heard stories where I remember I listened to some collectors at some point, and one guy said he sold his whole collection to get the Ghostbusters and the Ecto One.
Wow.
He ended up getting the Ecto One, and he had nowhere in his house to put it because it was just. And
oh
like,
my God. What a waste.
I'm like, dude, how did you do that? You didn't measure it, or oh my God. But yeah, so you got to plan. You have to put a lot of thought into this stuff because this is a lot of money. But if you're passionate about it, and let's face it, we have channels on this stuff. We talk about this stuff 24/7. So of course we're passionate about it. Some people buy cars, some people build engines, and that's their thing. So this is our thing. So if you're gonna invest in it, invest in it. But just do it. That's my thing. Be responsible. Buy responsibly, and I stress that. Don't let this impact, because I told this story last night. The thing with me buying those Ghostbusters, about a month later, I had a problem with the house that cost me about $4,000 that I had to work on.
Oh yeah.
So those things happen. You gotta, but my thing is you have to be prepared. Luckily, I was financially prepared for those things. So you just have to know where you have to know where you rest at and what you're comfortable with before you go and make those big purchases. But to answer your question, I put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, dude, I'm starting to get that way too, because like I said, when I think when I first started collecting, maybe in the first year, I was a little more impulsive. Like I would see something and maybe think about it for like a day or less and just be like, okay, I think I really want that, right? And a lot of times I would get stuff that I really would like, but I would also find myself sort of like trading in and out from time to time. So that's something I definitely did. And nowadays I feel like I tend to be like, I feel there's so much temptation, I think, in this game. There's like there really is. Because every turn, everywhere you go online, it's like this dropped or this dropped. Don't you want this? Don't you want that? And that's how the companies work, because they're businesses. They want to sell you things. So, and they're always popping up on the groups. People are sharing them. People are doing free marketing for the company just by sharing the greatness of the product. And it becomes a situation where you're like, there's so much temptation hitting me at all times that like you really have to like be able to like take a step back from it and just be like, okay, like, do I really want this, or am I feeling the hype? Am I feeling the pressure? Like, am I feeling other people are getting it? Should I get it? It's really good. Do I want it? FOMO? Am I going to miss out on it? So I think it really does, from my experience, it is helpful to like really assess whether this is something you're going to have long term, because I've bought a lot of things that I end up liking that I still have now, but I'm about to sell them. Exactly. So, I mean, I think that happens. So I'm trying to get out of the idea of like the habit of renting figures, like getting the figure, like having it for a year or something and then selling it. Like if I'm going to get something, I want to be positive that I'm going to have it for a reasonable amount of time. Like a year is still a good time. I got to enjoy it, but I want to have it longer than that.
Exactly. I think that's very important. And I think, and I do the same thing. And I know some people will call it renting figures. I don't look at it like that. I think it just depends on where you're at, because sometimes you grow, you're constantly growing and evolving, and you may Marvel may be your thing, and it's a lot of collectors. Marvel is their thing. They're like, I love Marvel. But then at the end of the day, they may find something with Star Wars that they connect with from Star Wars and be like, you know what, I'm Star Wars all the way now. And then they want to sell and flip that collection. I don't really, as long as you know what you're getting into, I don't think it's a problem with it. I don't. It's just, you have to be responsible with. Now, if you're buying and selling constantly and you're taking losses every time, right, that can be a problem. That can really, you can put yourself in grave financial trouble doing that. But if you're like, well, I have this, I enjoyed it. Like you said, I enjoyed it for about a year, about two. I'm ready to move on with it. Like last year, I bought the speeder bike. With Grogu and the Scout Trooper. I had it for a year, loved it, displayed it, loved it, was happy with it. I recently sold it. I sold it because one, space, two, I was just plumb tired of looking at it. And that happens. I just got bored. So yeah, I mean, I think that's fine sometimes.
Yeah, totally understand, man. So I want to address Andrew's super chat here, because thanks so much, Andrew James. Appreciate you, man. He said, it's been a while, my man. It really has, Andrew. Hope all is well. Glad to see the two coolest dudes in this hobby on one stream. Thanks, man. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. So, awesome. Dude, So nice, man. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it, dude. So yeah, Jay, I think I want to put a bow on that one. And I want to actually jump to the next topic, which is pretty close in line to it, because this is something I think we don't think of a lot either. Do you ask for the opinion of others? And then what I mean from this is really when purchasing, or really could be displaying, whatever it comes to your collecting, arranging, purchasing, selling, whatever, right? I think a lot of us, like, we ask each other for our input a lot, for their input. Like, even if it's not a collector, either say it's your wife or your girlfriend or your parents or whatever, like, you'd be like, hey, like, you're not really into this, but like, if you were to look at this, what would you think? Should I sell this if I could get this much or XYZ? I tend to do that pretty frequently. I tend to feel like I need like a bouncing ball, so to speak, of advice where like I can get someone else's opinion other than my own, and just be like, okay, let's get an objective-esque opinion in here and be like, what should I do with this, or what do you think? And then I'll take it into consideration. If I'm going to do it or not, that's the question. But it for sure is one of those where I do value the opinion of others. I tend to be that way. Like, I'll ask Carlos and Optical and Liao and whoever, right, about what I should do. And then of course other people too, like my girlfriend. And sometimes I'll even ask my mom. I'll be like, hey, like, do you think this is good? Right? Like, I don't need to show her the price every time. She's like, I don't want to know. It's kind of like, that type of thing. But like, I'll ask for that type of feedback. So do you do that too? Like, do you ask people for their opinion on your purchases and stuff like that?
A lot, all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my family is great for that, because we're all kind of big mega fans. Like, even my mom is, and it's funny, I think I'm gonna do a panel with my mom at some point.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Mama cousins.
She like, I've asked her, like, she's seen certain pieces, like even going back to the Harley Quinn. We were actually in Third Eye, the whole family together one day. She likes going to Third Eye with me. Nice. And she saw the Harley Quinn and was like, it looks cool. She was like, it's okay. I was like, you think I need it in my collection though? She was like, no. It's like, what are you going to put her with? I was like, yeah. She was like, she's fine, but do you really need her? She's like, she's not RoboCop. Right. She's like, she's not Batman. I was like, I just got Batman. She's like, does she go with that Batman though? Won't you save up and get? She's like, look, I can almost understand you getting the tumbler and not getting. I was like, well, whoa, Mom, the tumbler.
Go with the tumbler, Mom. Come on now.
Whoa. But she was like, but I would at least understand. She was like, because that goes with the other figure. That just seems like a figure you're gonna buy and sell. Don't do that. Right. So I was like, damn, she just brought me down, and yeah. So I look for the opinions of other collectors. Like, I think I was talking to Leia. I was like, man, do you think I should buy the Harley Quinn? He's like, no, don't do it. You don't know what J&D is going to do. I was like, that's a good point. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you sometimes need people to like kind of reel you back in, because I mean, sometimes I'm a little impetuous, and I like the fact of, I mean, I like purchasing things. I like figures. And some things look cool. A lot of stuff looks cool, but you don't have to have it all. But like you said, the companies are marketing, the prices, the packages in the stores, especially when it's obtainable. That's hard for me. When I see it, I'm like, oh my God, it's right here. It looks cool. And that can get you in trouble. And I've been learning, I do that a lot, and I end up buying those figures and then selling them. And then when I sell them, to be honest with you, you and I both know you take a little hit. Most of the time. You're going to take a little hit. You're going to get most of your money back, but you're going to take, $30 to $40 hit, especially depending on who you sell with. So yeah, definitely getting opinions from others can help you out a lot.
I like it too. I like to get feedback from people that I trust with that stuff, that, even have a different perspective than me, because it can give me sort of a new idea, of what I want to do and how I want to approach the collection and what I'm thinking about or considering, and definitely what I'm going to end up pulling the trigger on, because I just think, man, there's, like I said, there's so much temptation in this game, and there's so many good options, and that's a great problem to have. Like, you have too many good options, but it also can be like kind of damning, because you're like, I have so many good options that I could easily bankrupt the shit out of my account, because there's so much that I want and so much that I like. There's so much good content. There's so many good figures. Like, there's, a million different things. That's why, like, even for statues, unless it's a J&D where you need to pre-order it quickly, or a queen that's very, very limited. Otherwise, even like a Prime 1, I say wait a little bit, because even Prime 1s, they don't really sell out until they hit stock and stuff like that. So even with statues, man, I say, like, because the Night King right now, I really want the Prime 1 Night King, but I still haven't pre-ordered him yet, because I know that I can probably get him upon release. So like
Right.
it's, you know, even if I get it from Prime One or if I get it from Sideshow, I can probably get him, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and then just drop the money then if I still want him because it could be another year, right? So
Right.
and that by that point, am I still gonna want him? So otherwise I'm dropping an NRD of $200 or whatever. But
And then,
Uncommon Flex, by the way, damn you, Will. What's up, brother cousins?
hey.
Thanks so much, Uncommon Flex. Appreciate it, man. And I get blamed for everything, so you know.
Dude, but see, the thing is,
What do you think?
I'm
So
sorry.
I would say that asking for opinion is kind of important, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's really important. I think it's good to have a moral compass and besides yourself because you can just get in a lot of trouble just based on off like you got to know your own behavior. Like I said, my behavior, I'm a little impetuous at times. I just am. That's just me. And you can see that with some of the stuff I purchase. It's like some stuff you buy from Toys One Line. You can wait. You don't have to get it now. And I know, I'm a reviewer, so it's kind of like it's kind of in the job description to buy certain to get it a little quicker, but you don't need to do that with everything. That's why I'm starting to like teach myself to have that patience. And I like even with the transport trooper, I was like, look, I need to wait on this. I don't need to just run in and get it. And having people to like talk you out of it sometimes helps. I mean, because my thing is if you need somebody to talk you out of it, it's probably because there's something there that's holding you back. So it's good to have that. Now, for the things that you really want, that's easy to do. Like if it's like that Loki statue,
that
you
was
really
easy.
want, dude. You was like, look, I want it.
Yeah, Dopo full pay.
Right there, So it's like that. Or me with the Ecto One, it's like, okay, I want this. I know I want to get it. You want to get it. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely good. It's good to have that. Have people pull you back.
I agree, man. And Lael still thinks I baited him into getting the Pseudo Mark V. I don't know. I mean, I said that I was interested in it, but I never said I was going to buy it. So, that's how it works. So, but I don't know, man. It's don't hate the player, hate the game. So, how it is. So, but I want to ask you another question, Jay. And this one's a little bit spicier. So, but I think it'll be fine. Because we're talking about purchasing, right?
Yes.
So now, like I said, there's so many options, but there's also Collecting Weekly. Thanks so much, Zach. I appreciate it, dude. I just saw that comment. Took me off my game here.
Ladies
dude,
and gentlemen.
You flustered me, bro. Come on, you flustered me. So there's so many good options, but there's also so many good options to purchase from, or at least cheap options, right? There's a lot of really tempting options out there, right? Yeah. So I want to ask like you and other people, I think that from what I've tended to notice, I think like the day one purchasing have kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't see as many people like diving or going crazy for day one anymore. So, I think what we started to see is like Sideshow's getting things quicker. So prices are dropping. So what the Hong Kong resellers have done is they've lowered their prices to sort of compete with Sideshow and US retailers who are getting them more quickly because they're like, okay, you may have it, but we're selling it for cheaper. So if the buyer can wait maybe another week and get something shipped or maybe DHL or whatever, like we have an avenue to explore more sales. So how do you approach this? Because I personally have not really bought from Hong Kong resellers in a while. I think there's like I'm only 31, not like I'm old, but like the older I get and the more I'm into collecting, I just want less hassle. So like I tend to get to the point where I'm like, yeah, the Hong Kong resellers, it's usually fine. But if it's not fine, then it's a pain in the ass because you have to like ship it back to Hong Kong and they have to get something different. It's like takes a while. It's kind of a pain. So that's why I've tried to not really do Hong Kong resellers as much. I don't think I'll probably buy from them anymore, even though the prices are really good most of the time. How do you approach this? Like, how do you weigh the pros and cons of Hong Kong reseller versus not?
So usually what I do, because I have a whole process. When a new figure drops from when we see it on Facebook, we see it on the official Hot Toys Facebook page. There's a couple questions I ask myself. One, I ask myself this question: are you going to get this figure because you want to review it, or are you going to get this figure because you want it in your collection?
Yeah.
And back when I first started the channel, it was I need to get the views. I need to get the views. Oh my God, it's the competition. Who gets the figure fastest? Oh my God. First of all, I'm going to say it. Most reviewers were not going to get the figures as fast as like Justin or any other big guys. We're not going to. And the reason, mainly location. You got to know your geography. If you're right here and then you got to go with me all the way across the map to get it's. You're not going to get it faster. And then that whole thing of who gets it faster, who gets that's kind of dead to me. And I think that even in the community, people are starting to see that. I think what it is now, it's about who you are, who's reviewing the figure. And most people are like me. Like, I watch everybody's reviews. I watch Sideshows, I watch Justin's, I watch Dante's, I watch yours, I watch anybody else. I watch everybody's. If you have the figure, I want to know everything about the figure because everybody's going to review it differently. So that's that right there. Now, where it comes from buying from Hong Kong, I have been buying from Toys Wonderland for a while. I've been buying it from a while, for a while. So I've accrued a lot of points, nice. A lot, like more. And at one point, I had a little. Out of all the times I've dealt with them, I'll say this: most of the time, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty fair. They've sent me stuff. It's been pretty good. There was only one time back in December with the Iron Man, which that was.
Oh
great.
Yeah.
Everybody know that. I blew that. I kind of blew that.
That was pretty wild. Yeah,
and rightly should have because it didn't look right, and it didn't look like it was like something that was a mistake. It kind of looked very suspicious. Right. But I don't want to go back into that. But they did take care of me, so I will say that they took care of me and they got it all. And we got that all sorted out. But if it's a figure that I really want, let's say if it was Cable, like I'm really waiting for Cable. That's like Cable is something I'm really waiting for. If it's a figure like that, usually what I do is I go to two Hong Kong sellers. Three I deal with. Pop. I deal with Pop. I deal with Toys Wonderland and Tim Cent. Yeah. Tim Cent is great. Tim Cent's been my guy for years back. Toy buying agent.
He's my go-to if I do buy from one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly, I'm going to say he's the best. He's great.
I think so. Yeah. I've never had a bad experience.
Never had a bad. And he's been doing it for a year. He's been doing this for, I bought my first the Joker bank robber. My first hot toy was purchased from him. And that was in 2009, I believe. So yeah, that guy's been doing it for a while. So and what I do is I look at the points because he has a wonderful point system. I look at the points, I look at all that, and whoever I can get it from cheaper, that's who I buy it from. And a lot of times there's recently Toys Wonderland I've had points and then they have discounts and it all works financially. It works out. So it makes sense for me to buy from there because I can get it at some points. I can get it from there the same price. Like for instance, DX19. I got that from Toys Wonderland. I did the math. I could have got it from Sideshow damn near. I think if I would have got it from Sideshow, I would have saved about $20. For me to review it early and to get it out there, it was worth me losing that $20 because it's like if I got to wait 3 months. But if I pay $20, I get it now. I'll pay the $20 and get it now. That's right. Just how that works. It makes sense for me to do that. As I'm a YouTuber, and I'm reviewing it. So it makes sense for me to do that. Now, for everybody else, do they need to do that? No. If you can wait on it and say that $20, say that $20. That $20 can go to gas, can go to food, can go to something else. You don't have to do that. But for me, it worked. It just worked out that way. So that's kind of how my practice is. Now, if it's a figure that I know I'm going to get eventually, I'll wait for Sideshow. I'll wait for my comic. I'll wait for Third Eye Comics to get it.
Yeah. Right.
And I'll just get it from them because I also like, and I don't want to say this, I just don't want to buy from Hong Kong all the time. I want to support my locals as well. I do. So especially comic book shops, especially because I remember when comic book shops were like 2008, when the market and everything went down, comics shops were the first ones to go. So, it's great that we have stores like Third Eye Comics and other comics. So I like to give them business too. So sometimes I'll intentionally wait till they get stuff in and just go and buy it from them just so they can get my business. So I like teeter-tottering back and forth. But if it's something that I kind of need right now and I'm really waiting for, I'll get it from like a Toys Wonderland or a Tim Cent and keep it moving like that.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It's really interesting philosophy, and I'm somewhat similar for sure. I tend to be, like I said, nowadays like less into the Hong Kong reseller market, but there are good options out there for sure. Everyone knows I'm not the biggest Toys Wonderland guy, but I also recognize that a lot of people have had good experiences with them, and a lot of people haven't. So it's it's totally fine. Like to each their own. Like I don't like recommending buying from them, but like I said, I'm all for the idea that everyone can make their own decision. So like if everyone wants to buy from them, go for it. If everyone wants to go buy from Tim Cent, that's fine too, or Sideshow or whoever, like Alter Ego, whatever. So I think everyone has their own autonomy to make their own decision. And I think that's great. For me, it's just Hong Kong resellers, man. It's just I like 1/6 Kid a lot too. I've had really good experience with him. I use him for third party stuff. So if I get an off chance third party thing like Final Fantasy figures or whatever, like I'll always pretty much get it from him. So because he's always been great, man. He ships things super nice. So same with Tim Cent for that matter. But yeah, that's what I tend to do. So I'm kind of the same way. But I kind of want to ask you like a bigger picture question, Jay, because there's only a few more we need to hit here. But one of them is this. This is, I think, like real big picture because we're talking about like what collecting actually does for us, right? So I think there are a lot of ways we can interpret this question. And what I kind of mean for it is like, I think we all feel fulfilled with collecting in some way. Like maybe it's like a representation of something that you truly love in the figure or the character or the property, the IP, or whatever, right? If it's Star Wars and you're a huge Star Wars fan, it's Back to the Future for you or Terminator, right? So it fulfills you in that it brings you joy and happiness. But I think like, again, like it starts to become the idea of like how much fulfillment is good. And like maybe sometimes you have like your maximum fulfillment and then maybe need to trade things in and out to keep that level instead of going overboard. Because I kind of feel like that's maybe where I'm selling some of the stuff. I feel like because I feel like I've reached the point where I have so much stuff and it's all great, but I want to like maintain like a lesser level to the point where I'm not feeling like I don't appreciate what I'm having anymore. You know, like to the point where I'm having things and I'm like, oh yeah, like I really like that figure. It's really cool, but I also like that and this and this, and I have like a million things, right? And I start to maybe like want to curate a little bit because I'm like, okay, let's try to really get the stuff that I love. I like if I'm as long as I'm collecting, I gotta have this, right? That's how I start to feel. So I think maybe with fulfillment, I think it's just a matter of like, there's a lot of things we're looking for, but what do you think you're looking for like when you buy this stuff?
I'm looking for nostalgia. I'm looking for things that make me think about my favorite movies and the times I spent with my family. The in-game line, for example.
Yeah.
In-game line is very important to me. Very important line because the in-game movie was the last movie that I saw with my mom and my aunt. I lost my aunt to COVID. Yeah, not to bring the show down. I hate, but it's just real,
Yeah,
and my mom and aunt were twins. So it was real hard. It was real hard for us. But that was the last movie she saw. And I remember she was like doing chemo and she was like, I gotta see Endgame. And we've seen all four. I mean, we had seen all the Avengers in the movies. And she was like, I'm not missing Endgame. I was like, but you're not doing well. She was like, no, I'm going to see Endgame. I was like, it's
Nice.
3. I was like, it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours. She was like, I'm going to see Endgame. And for some reason, that day, I remember her sitting there. We were in the theater. And she saw Professor Hulk. She was like, I don't like him like that.
Nice.
I don't like him like that.
So you do not to get that figure.
Right. She was like, but and then it's funny, I have it. And I look at it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I always think about it. I was like, she did not like.
Yeah, she did like it.
Right. She's like, I like him the regular Hulk way. But that day, I remember her after we came out the theater and she said, this whole day, I feel myself. I don't feel like I'm sick.
Right.
So that will always be burnt in my mind. So Endgame means a lot. So being fulfilled was getting all these, like sitting back, looking at all these Avengers Endgame, which is why it's killing me. And I know it's killing you too, that we don't have fucking Loki.
I know. I know. It is.
It's killing me, man, because that's like the last one. Once I get that one, I'm like, okay, I got it. And having that is like, in a weird way, it's like I almost have my, don't you dare cry. Don't you dare cry, Jay. Don't you do it. It's like I almost have my aunt back with me.
Right.
So that's, that fulfills me. And I mean, and I love those movies. And we love those movies a lot together. And it just, reminds me of great times. I mean, even when the first one came out, we stood in a line together and we were like, I was like, y'all still, and my aunt and my mom was like, we're going to stand. We're going to wait. We want to see, this is great. This is, they were older, so they were baby boomers. So they was like, oh my God, this
baby boomers.
They're like, this is like Woodstock. I'm like, Woodstock, really?
Woodstock. It was, dude. It was a wild scene with Endgame. I know you remember.
Oh, hell yeah. We couldn't buy tickets for like weeks. It was crazy.
Like people talk about No Way Home. Endgame was a different level. Like it was like a cultural event.
It was, and
It
people,
really was.
and isn't it funny that people are like forgetting? They're like, "Oh, Endgame, we're done with
I
that."
know.
Like,
Forget the Endgame line. I'm like, yeah, I get that. It is kind of old, but at the same time,
right,
Endgame was literally like it's the highest grossing film of all time. I mean, it's like
right,
it was a cultural phenomenon. Like, and it's
absolutely.
funny because Avatar was, and I never felt like that with Avatar. I never felt like Avatar reached that level where it was like everyone was talking about Avatar. You know,
I
like
think that was just corporate mumbo jumbo and fudging the numbers to me. I mean,
maybe
seriously, because I'm like, how is that? I was like, it's like Pocahontas with blue cats. It's like not the
with blue cats,
the technology is amazing. And then if
right?
you haven't been to the like the Disney theme park with it, oh my god,
Yeah,
it makes you love Avatar, seriously. But yeah, I never got why. Yeah, but yeah, but to answer your question, it's all about nostalgia and the moments. For me. But I also get it where you're saying about having a little too much and creating your collection,
right,
because when you have a bunch of stuff, me personally, I start to feel consumed. I start
right.
to like, I'm
I
like,
feel overwhelmed with it.
yeah, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like I spent all this money on this. What I start questioning myself, like, what else do I have? Do I have enough clothes? Do I have enough
right,
money saved up for my daughter? Do I have enough? I start really questioning myself and like, okay, we need to spread this out a little bit, or I need to thin
right,
out the herd, so to speak, a little bit. So
right.
I totally get that as well, and I've kind of started doing that myself because I started looking at stuff like, do I really need this stuff? Do I really need this figure? Do I need? So I try to take it back to what I'm going like back to like my childhood, and I think that's where the whole Grail show kind of came out of,
Oh, nice.
just being appreciative to the stuff that we already have and not looking forward to the next, because you're constantly in this game, we're constantly looking forward to the next, constantly what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, and we're not looking back. And you know how it is sometimes when we do these, when we, especially us, we're professionals and we do this community, um we get like multiple packages. Like one week I had like
Yeah,
4 figures come, and honestly, it was like I put them, I think Anthony said it best. He said he was getting so many figures at some point, it was almost like putting away groceries. He would take a figure, he would put it
right,
on the shelf, go to the next one. And guess what, when you do that, you're not being fulfilled. You're not appreciating the artwork. It's like, oh, it's cool, it's there. You're not posing
right.
it, you're not playing it, you're not enjoying your figures. So
Yeah,
yeah, you have to know when to stop. You have to know, why are you doing this? Are you doing this stuff? Are you buying this stuff to fulfill something that a void that's inside you, that's not, that figures can't fix? At one
right.
point, I remember when I was younger, even before I was collecting Hot Toys, I was collecting McFarlane. And at this time, I just graduated from high school. It's probably, we're talking about like 99, 2000, 2001. Yeah, I'm old.
Nah,
I remember walking around in the malls looking for like Spawn figures and stuff like that. And I remember going there, I'm like, yo, did they come yet? And they were like, no, we don't have him. And I remember walking around the mall like, oh man, I'm upset. And then I had to think. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I need,
yeah.
it's other things I should be doing. Maybe I should be out talking to girls. Maybe I should be out, hanging with
Always a good
friends.
idea.
Why am I just chasing And I was chasing, because then it would be the thing with, I would get the figure, I would pose it, and then 2 days later, I'm like, whatever.
That
Going to-
exactly.
So
I've done it. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's a thing, man. But I'm with you on the fulfillment aspect. I mean, there's always like personal family stories or experiences, or just you represent, or connect with the character in different ways. That's one of the reasons. I don't know if I've ever said this in a stream, but that's one of the reasons I really like Loki. I think there are things in his personality sometimes that I can identify with, or like empathize or sympathize with. Same with Kylo, for that matter. I don't think those two characters are that different. So I think that's probably why I
yeah,
like those two characters a little bit. I don't know, like they're interesting in a lot of different character aspects. So, and I think they just have similar characteristics in terms of like, they're like sort of sometimes like a need for validation. Sometimes I think we all can feel that with collecting with other things. And I think they really like go to prove themselves a lot. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that I think a lot of us can really connect with. You always feel like you have like that chip on your shoulder where you have to prove yourself to people. I think
exactly.
those two characters really embody that quite a lot. So those are
too.
the type of things that I think that's very human. That's something very human about that. And that's
Mhm.
what I really like about those two.
Absolutely.
So, and just the characters are awesome. But,
They are. They
I
are.
will say there's two more topics we got to hit, Jay, and then we'll be done and out of here. But the next one is, what's the best way to differentiate a want versus a need? So, I mean, it's a collecting, so we don't really need any of it. But if you're
Right.
going to have a collection, like there are certain things you just like that Loki statue. I feel like I need it, right? Because I'm gonna have a collection. I love Loki; he's my favorite character, or one of them anyway. And I feel like I need that statue. So, how do you feel like you differentiate that? And this kind of ties into a little bit what we talked about, but
Mhm.
I think that's the key there, figuring out a want versus a need. How do you where do you draw the line?
Locking. I call it being locked into a collection.
Mm,
And you got to know, like, the one-offs are dangerous. For me, one-off, like, once again, Harley Quinn. I'm still tempted, like, okay, being impetuous and buying things that that I just see in a store, it's a weakness of mine, and I know that. I'm just gonna sit up there and flat out say it's a weakness. I know it is a weakness. So I have to work against myself.
yeah,
So what I'm starting to do is to thin out the herd of one-offs. If I don't need the one-off, why it doesn't fit the collection, don't get it. That's like my new rule. That can also be extreme because it's like if you collect Star Wars, just about everything's connected to Star. That's a really deep well. Same with Marvel. But if you look at something like Back to the Future, for instance, um, I'm never going to get rid of that. It's like I can't get rid of the DeLorean. And they're like, well, I'm just going to have Marty and Doc. It's like, come on, really? So, or I'm going to get rid of Marty and keep Doc. It just doesn't work like that. You want to lock yourself in. I think that works for me, locking myself in the collection, because I know all those pieces go with that collection and I can validate each section. Like, well, of course I got to get the DeLorean because the DeLorean is it's a character itself in the story. It's a
right.
MacGuffin, but it's also a big character in the story. So you got to have that along with these figures. So in the same thing with the Avengers, you can't have, two Avengers and not have all of them. Well, you could, but just the way I look at it, if I have all the Avengers one line, I want to have the Avengers Endgame line, because those two movies, they kind of blurred into each other, like, within.
Yeah,
So it all makes sense for me to have those figures. And there may be other figures that I want to get. It means some Star Trek figures that I may want to get, but I don't really need to get those figures because I'm already locked into the Marvel stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that right there helps me kind of like, like you said, none of this stuff is needs, but I would need that. It'd be like I would need a Bruce Banner figure before I need a Sulu figure. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's how that helps me.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like I feel like nowadays it's tough when something's limited like that. So like I said, I do kind of understand the idea, like the Queen Studios argument of the 3-day thing and reopening it and that kind of stuff. To me, I still feel like it's a little less inconsequential than maybe like, I would think personally, but to each their own, right? But I do
Yeah.
understand it's almost like sometimes at least like like a day or two, like maybe think about it before you do it, because I think like maybe to take a step back from the hype and just be like, okay, like, am I going to want this in a year? Right. And that's so hard to figure
Yeah.
out because there's so much content that hasn't come out yet because we haven't seen the new Doctor Strange films. Right.
Yeah.
So everyone who maybe went and pre-ordered this Electro, like you said, then they drop all these Scarlet Witches and Doctor Stranges and they drop in Xavier and you're like, oh man, I can't get all of this. Now I got to cancel Electro. So it's like, that's the kind of stuff I feel like maybe like determining a want versus need sometimes takes a little bit of time.
It
It
does.
just depends how much you would define that for yourself. But I think it's interesting, and that's the kind of way I've approached it now. I think a need to me is just something that you feel like you almost like it's a grail to you.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
that's what it is, and like it's more so like a want for everything else. Like the IG-11 figure I have behind me, I
Mhm.
really like that figure. I'm not going to sell it. I want to keep it, but I don't think it's a need. I think it's more
Exactly.
so like a want. Like I do really like that figure, and I think it's badass, but it's not a Loki, right? There's not even the Mando right next to him.
Exactly.
So I really want that figure. I might even sell that one. But again, I'm taking a loss if I want to get the Chrome version, right? So, I'm taking
Right.
a big loss on that one. So that's not always fun. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me. Just figuring out like maybe taking a step back for a second and being like, okay, like, is this something that I'm gonna want in a year? And you can't predict the anomalies. They're gonna come out of nowhere. Like that's why they
Absolutely.
are
Oh
anomalies. They're
my
unexpected.
God. Yes.
But like almost projecting that there are going to be some. You just don't know what they are going to be, but projecting that there are going to be some, and then saying, okay, if an anomaly appears and I'm going to want it more than this, am I still going to have room for this? Am I still going to have a want and desire for this? And that's what I tend to look at. So we got some really good comments of Brother Cousins. AJ said, recently I've been picking up pieces that connect me to my late father. Dude, so sorry to hear that, man. Who I lost in February. He was always hoping I could find a Count Dooku, so I finally made it happen. Nice, man. That's really heartwarming right there. That's awesome, man. So, and then Tyria said, I agree with the nostalgia aspect. I'm going to buy the TOTS Good Guy from Child's Play 2 because it reminds me of good times when I watched the movie a lot with my brother and mom when I was little. Dude, see, that's
there you go.
That's worth it right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay, I have to hit one more topic.
Awesome.
So, losing interest in figures over time. We've started to see this with pre-orders because I can speak to this for myself at least. Today, I did almost the unthinkable. I canceled Miles Morales from Spider-Verse. So, dude, and I might end up going back and get it. We'll see. Because it was no NRD. So it was no NRD, and I could cancel it. Maybe I'll decide again when he's released if he looks really good. Because I love the film. I love the character and I love the film. I also, this was Carlos' fault, I canceled Carnage. Because I had the pre-order on him, no deposit again. I do have Venom, and I do not plan to sell Venom. But it was a tricky one because, again, I think sometimes like I'll look at stuff and be like, okay, even though Carnage hasn't been on pre-order that long, I've started to lose a little bit of hype. I didn't love Venom 2, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I gave it like an 8. But I really liked Carnage. So for me, man, do you lose interest in figures over time? Like, say the Mark 47 you're thinking about selling. Like, even stuff that's not on pre-order, stuff that you currently have. I know I definitely have.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, and you're right. Like, I mean, Into the Spider-Verse has been a minute, right?
Yeah.
You know,
like what, 2018 or 19? Yeah.
2018. And the world was a different world. I tend to look at things kind of like they say in Last of Us, like that was the old world.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
after the world health crisis and everything, dude, we're in a whole new world right now. So, I mean, yeah, sometimes certain things get kind of old, and it's just, if it's not a classic, if it's not something that you're really hyped about, yeah, you can lose interest in it. I mean, it happens a lot. I can understand it. I mean, you brought up Miles. I mean, I bought the video game Miles Morales, and I know I'm gonna get heat for this. I sold that figure. And that's a good figure. And people
it's like, really good from what I heard. Yeah.
They're like, why did you sell it? Why you sell it? I was like, honestly, I'm not going to go deep in that video game line. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. And don't get me wrong, it's a great figure. I kind of felt bad selling it, but at the same breath, it's like I didn't need it in my collection. It's not, I played the game. The game was great, but I'm over it right now. When the next game comes out, cool. But at this point, I'm over it right now. And it's kind of like, it's one of these things that's kind of like a linchpin. It's like I'll buy that figure, but then I'll feel compelled to buy the other video game suits. So then I have all these spider suits, and then what happens 4 or 5 years down the line? I end up selling them all. Let's not do that. So you got to find a way to to justify what works for you. And honestly, I was like, at that time, I think I sold that figure and went and got I got the Far From Home the upgraded suit.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was a better figure. It came with a head sculpt. It's part of it's actual part of the MCU. I'm gonna get more leverage out of that figure than the Miles. That's just what it is. Now when it comes to the Enter the Spider-Verse, I do love Enter the Spider. And that was another thing. I'm like, we getting 2 Miles. We have the video game Miles, and you got the Enter the Spider-Verse Miles. I'll just get the Enter the Spider-Verse Miles, because I think that was a better Miles. I think it comes with more stuff. It's a all around better figure. So I was able to justify it that way. But even with that being said, yeah, if you don't have a deep connection to the character or the deep connection to the media, I mean, yeah, you can let it go. And it goes back to what I was. Look, another thing. I was a big Bruce Lee fan.
Yeah.
Big Bruce Lee fan back. Still a Bruce Lee fan. I had back in the day, I forget what DX it was, but I had the Bruce Lee DX figure. At that time, I had just got into Hot Toys. I really didn't display it well, and it was cool, but at the time I was doing a film project. This is like 2013. And I was like, I kind of need the money. I don't need this right now. And I sold it. And I needed the money. And I took the money and did my film project, which honestly worked better out for me, helped me for my career and everything. So, you know, you gotta sometimes it's good just to go in and just like thin out the collection, find out what makes sense to you, and just, you know, move on. And like I said, sometimes you can have stuff sitting around. You can get sometimes I'll walk in here and I'll see certain things. I'm like, I'm kind of bored with this.
Right.
And I know that happens. It's like it's kind of bored. I don't. And if you get bored with it, you don't need it. But when you have those figures that you constantly stare at, like I love the Jazz Inc. cockpit, Falcon cockpit with all the New Hope figures. When I look at that, I'm always like, wow, that looks good.
Yeah, that's
every
badass,
night.
Yeah.
Every night I'm like, wow, that looks good. If you're not that engaged or enamored with a collectible, get rid of it. Because this, I mean, you should have that love for it. But then here's the thing: if you get rid of it, and then you go to a cousin's house or go to your friend's house, and you're like, damn, that was cool. Why did
that was pretty damn cool.
That happens too, you know. But even though you're fine, because a lot of times you can find Hot Toys, you can find them again. It's not like they're gone, you know.
Right.
Statues are a little different.
Yeah, no one's ever really gone. That's what Luke said. So
very true.
Not everyone's favorite film, but it was a good line. So, you know, but I'm with you though, Jay. Like when I look at, say, my Jack Sparrow, or I look at DX-13 Battle Damage Terminator, or I look at the Prime 1 Sauron across from me, like those are the ones I look at. I'm like, damn, this is fucking sick. Like this is really cool. So, but then, you know, I look some of the others like Wasp, who I really like. You know, I don't, you know, but I'm about to sell her. You're even Gamora from Part 2. Looks like a good figure, but it doesn't super excite me. You know, so. That's the type of thing, just how I collect nowadays. To each their own. Like I said, even if you like figures and you want to buy it, then all means go for it. Like we're not here to talk anyone out of anything. I think it's just good to have a conversation about like how we view it and like how other people, you know, view the same type of concepts, or, you know, what their decision process is like. I think like as long as we're having these conversations, it's productive because you get different perspectives. Like even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, what you're saying, like it's, you know, like that's fine. Like we're at least bringing something to the table and saying like, okay, there are different ways to look at collecting and how we find fulfillment in it for us. So I think it's, you know, pretty exciting. So anyway, guys, we got to wrap it there. But Jay, thanks so much for joining me, man. That was a fun show. I told you it's like getting on the therapy couch for the show, bro.
It really is, man. I can't believe this is it. I'm like, oh,
I know, right? Dude, before you know it, that's it. But what do you have coming up, man? Thanks again for joining, and like, what's coming up on Brother Cousins channel?
Oh man, so tomorrow. I'm gonna do your move. I'm gonna look in the camera with this one.
Oh, okay. I'm pulling up your channel now.
So tomorrow, it's me, Local Lou. It is Half Shell Saturdays. Yes, 9 a.m. Me and Local Lou, we're talking everything TMNT. We're gonna be talking about the big topics. We're gonna be talking about the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. We're also gonna be talking about the Last Ronin comic book. So check that out. And I may or may not have something to unbox, couple things to unbox, or just to show off. You know how we like to do. So yeah, that's gonna be tomorrow. That's gonna be great. Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday of next week. May 3rd, May the 4th Eve, as we like to call it. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of Big Grail, one of the ultimate 2-packs. Han and Chewie from New Hope. We're going to be unboxing that, so be around for that. That's going to be great. Next week, it will be no best of the best, because Thursday night, I think everybody in the whole world is going to be seeing, yes, Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, won't be no best of the best next week, but yeah, that's it. And yeah, so that's it for me. Oh yeah, I just hit 2K. I keep forgetting.
Dude, congratulations. You get an applause. You get an applause from people. Dude, congrats, man. That's huge. Seriously.
Thank you so much, man. And thank you guys out there for helping make that happen. So we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're getting close. Once we get to 2022 subs, we're going to do a giveaway. We'll probably do that most likely on Best of the Best. We'll do a giveaway, and the figure that we'll be giving away will be a Hot Toys Ahsoka, the Clone Wars Ahsoka. That's going to be from Sideshow. I already pre-ordered it and was waiting for that to come in. As soon as it comes in, I'll be shipping that to whoever wins the giveaway. So yes, a lot of exciting stuff. Once again, Will, thank you so much for being here, man. This has been a pleasure. Awesome, man. I feel like I made it.
You did, bro. Come on now. So yeah, it's exciting. And Brother Cousins, congrats again on the 2K, dude. Seriously, well deserved, well earned. And yeah, man, got some exciting stuff coming up there. For me, these episodes will be on Spotify and Apple. I still need to put up last week's. I haven't done it yet. I've been so short on time, but I'm going to put it up, and this one's going to be put up too. And other than that, I mean, we have Collectors Mingle Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be on other channels, people's channels here and there, in the time being. But yeah, all I can say is thanks so much to you all for joining. And I think I saw Kiko popped up. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Kiko. Damn late. You really are Kiko. But better late than never, dude. But all I can say is thank you so much to all you guys in the chat for the support. Seriously does mean a lot. And Optical and I will be doing a game stream. We'll be breaking out of prison again tonight. So it's going to be quite fun. And hopefully nothing crazy happens, but it probably will. But all I can say is thanks so much, guys, for joining again. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.